What's going on, guys? Super Insane 18 here, and today I'm bringing you the long-awaited Pure Snake Eye deck profile. So let's go ahead and show you guys 5 must-know combos for the Pure Snake Eye deck. And for those of you that are wondering where the Fire King version is, don't worry, that comp tutorial is coming soon. This is just the version that I am more personally invested in, so don't go in commenting where's the Fire King one. It will be coming any day now. Let's go ahead and jump on it. For our first combo, we are going to be showing you a 1-card combo utilizing Snake Eye Ash that gets you into a relatively strong end board where you are able to make a Baron and have Princess and Ambler Whale live, as well as guaranteed follow-up in the Flamberge. So let's go ahead and show you guys how it's done. First, we are going to normal summon out our Snake Eye Ash, which of course activates its effect to add a level 1 fire. This is going to add us our copy of Habetler. Habetler will then special summon itself using its own effect, and on summon use its additional effect to search for a card. We are going to search for the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye. We're going to go ahead and hold that for now. First, what we are going to do is we are going to use the Ash to get rid of the Habetler using its effect. That is going to allow us to summon a copy of Snake Eye Oak from our deck. Now we have a couple of different triggers. We're going to go Oak Chainlink 1, Habetler Chainlink 2. Oak is going to target either one of them, it doesn't matter which, and then Habetler is going to put the opposite one in the spell and trap zone. So for simplicity's sake, we'll just say Oak is going to reborn the Ash, and Habetler is going to put itself. So now we have this on our board. We can go ahead and use the effect of Snake Eye Oak to send itself and the Habetler, and this is going to summon out our copy of Flamberge. Now what we can do is we can go ahead and link the Flamberge and the Ash, and this will go ahead and go into our copy of Sunlight Wolf, which will then activate the effect of Flamberge. Flamberge will be able to summon 2 level 1s, where we'll go ahead and do one of them into the zone that Sunlight Wolf points to, which will then of course activate the effect of Sunlight Wolf. Here we're going to add back any fire. We don't want it to be the Flamberge, so we'll add back whatever other fire we have. Now we're ready to use the original Sinful Spoils that we added earlier. We're going to go ahead and use it, sending either one of our 2 level 1s, it does not matter which one, and this is going to allow us to then summon out our copy of Jet Synchron. Now, Jet Synchron here, we're going to go ahead and synchro off with the Ash Blossom. This is going to go ahead and go into our copy of Formula Synchron. Now, on summon, Formula Synchron is going to draw a card, which I forgot to stack on top of the deck, so we're just going to go ahead and use a blank card as one of our draws. And now we can take the Formula and the Sunlight Wolf, and this is going to go ahead and go into our copy of Princess. With the Promethean Princess on board, we can activate its effect. This is of course going to allow us to reborn out our Flamberge Dragon, and once we have our Flamberge on the field, what we can go ahead and do is use the effect to put our Formula Synchron back in our spell and trap zone. Now we're almost done with our turn. The last thing we want to do is discard the fire that we added back off of the Sunlight Wolf for the summon of our Jet Synchron, because we are currently locked into fires, which we don't want to be locked. So then we can take the Jet Synchron, which is going to get banished, and link it off with the Princess to go into our copy of Ambler Whale. So now we have 5 cards in our hand because we replenished the one that we used, and we have the Whale live with the Princess in graveyard. On our opponent's turn, so again, everything happening now is on the opponent's turn, we're going to be able to use the Flamberge to summon out the Formula Synchron. The Formula Synchron is going to be able to quick synchro with the Flamberge into a copy of Baron. That will of course activate the effect of Flamberge to summon 2. The 2 that you want to summon are the Oak and the Ash, and that will activate both of their effects as well. Oak will be able to reborn the Populace, the Habetler. The Ash will be able to adjuvate Oak, that way you have guaranteed follow-up on the next turn. And then in a new chain, the Habetler is going to activate, adding you either your original or your Divine Temple, whichever one you feel like you're going to need, so you'll have one of these 2 as well in your hand. That's 7 cards in hand. We still have the Princess live and an Omni Negate in Baron. For our second combo, we are going to show you another combo just utilizing a single copy of Snake Eye Ash, and this one is actually nib-proof, and it gives you a Princess Engrave as well as guaranteed follow-up and an IP on your opponent's turn, so let's show you guys how it's going to function. We're going to go ahead and start off again by normal summoning out our Snake Eye Ash, and this is of course going to allow us to add our Habetler. Habetler is going to activate its effect to add it, or summon itself when it is added, and then on summon activate its effect to search. Here we're going to search for the Divine Temple. Now we're going to go ahead and play the Divine Temple, and what that does is it allows us to put one of our Snake Eyes from our deck in our spell and trap zone. We're going to go ahead and use the Flamberge Dragon. Now, this is why it is Nibiru proof. The effect of Divine Temple is if your opponent special summons a monster, you can go ahead and summon one of your monsters that is treated as a continuous spell. So if they Nibiru you, you're going to be able to summon out the Flamberge. Flamberge plus Nibiru token is going to allow you to full combo through the nib. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and link off the Poplar into our copy of Linkuriboh, which is of course going to activate the effect of Poplar to place itself back in the spell and trap zone. And now we can use the Ash and the Poplar, using the Ash effect to send itself and a face-up card, to summon out our copy of Oak. Here we're going to use the Oak effect to reborn either of our level 1s, it does not matter which one, because we're just going to use the Oak and the Linkuriboh using the Oak effect to send, and that is going to summon out another copy of Flamberge from our deck. Here we're going to link off the Flamberge and whatever level 1 we resummoned. This is of course going to go into our copy of IP Masquerena, and then activate the effect of Flamberge to summon 2 level 1s from our grave. It does not matter which 2. Here we can take the IP and the one of the level 1s, again does not matter which one. This is going to go into our copy of Promethean Princess, and once we have the Princess we can use its effect to resummon out our copy of Flamberge. Now that we have our Flamberge back, we can use its effect to place our IP Masquerena in our spell and trap zone as a continuous spell, and the last thing we're going to do for our combo is taking our final level 1 and our Princess, and linking those off into our copy of Amblo Whale. So now this sets up quite a few things. First off, we have the Divine Temple and the Flamberge, both of which are able to summon some of our spell and traps to our side of the field. We have the Whale with the Princess live as well, and of course when we use the IP to link, we're going to be able to recur our resources from the grave with the Flamberge, same as I showed you guys in combo 1, getting us guaranteed follow-up for the next turn, and the options for the Masquerena are somewhat twofold, and it depends on the situation that you are in. You can obviously use it plus the 2 that you have on board to make a 3 material Appaloosa, or if you're not in need of the Appaloosa, you can use it and the Flamberge to make an SP, and it just kind of depends on the scenario that you're in. Combo number 3 is yet again going to be a single Snake Eye Ash combo, and it is going to show you how to go into the Decode Talker or Heat Soul line of combos, and this is really good if you didn't see any hand traps in your opening hand, because you'll have pretty much all of the same interruptions that you had on the previous board, but you get to draw 2 and potentially, hopefully, see your hand traps. So we're going to show you guys how to do it. Again, it's going to start off with the normal summon of the Snake Eye Ash, and this is going to be really familiar. We're going to add our copy of Poplar. Poplar's effect will summon itself, and then on summon it will search. We are going to get our copy of Divine Temple. Here we activate the Divine Temple, and again this puts the Flamberge in our spell and trap zone, once again making us immune to a card like Nibiru. Here we're going to link off the Poplar into our copy of Linkuriboh, using the Poplar to place itself back in the spell and trap zone, and now we will use the Ash's effect to send itself and the Poplar to summon out our copy of Oak. Oak will reborn any of our level 1s, it does not matter which one, and then we can use its on-field effect to send itself and the Linkuriboh to summon out another Flamberge from our deck. Here, same as the last combo, we will use the Flamberge and the Ash. This is going to link off into our copy of IP Masquerena, which will activate the effect of Flamberge, summoning back any 2 of our level 1s, does not matter which one. Using the IP and any of our level 1s, we are going to go ahead and go into the Promethean Princess, and Promethean Princess is going to summon out our Flamberge, which is then going to use its effect and place the IP back in the spell and trap zone. Now, this is where it is going to slightly differ. We are actually going to link the Flamberge and the Princess off into a copy of our Salamangrate Sunlight Wolf. Now, here we can use the Linkuriboh in our graveyard, tributing our level 1 left on field into the Sunlight Wolf zone. This is then going to activate the effect of Sunlight Wolf, letting us add back our copy of Oak. This gives us guaranteed follow-up on the next turn. Now we can take the Oak and the Wolf and the Linkuriboh, and we can link those off into our copy of Heat Soul, which we can then pay 1,000 to draw a card, and then pass to our opponent and pay 1,000 to draw a card again. Now, you might think that this isn't necessarily as good, but it's just as good, because now not only are we ahead on resources, but as soon as our opponent commits a summon, we can go ahead and use Divine Temple to summon out our Flamberge from our spell trap, and once we have the Flamberge out from our spell trap, we can also go ahead and summon out the IP. Again, this can either make a 3 material Appaloosa or an SP, just really depends on the situation, but of course when you get rid of your Flamberge, you're going to be able to summon out your Ash and your Poplar, which is going to get you some guaranteed Guaranteed Follow-Up, and of course the Princess is live in Grave as well. For combo number 4, we are going to show you a 2-card combo utilizing Snake Eye Ash and Diabellstar the Black Witch. Now, you can get into this board in any way that you have. If you have Wanted, if you have Bonfire, same can be said for the previous combos if you have something like Bonfire or 1-for-1 or any way into the Ash, but just any combination of cards that get you into these two is going to set up this end board. And this end board is really cool because not only does it give you double Omni Negates, but you draw an additional card during the combo, and the amount of options that it gives you for the next turn is immense. So let's show you guys how it works. We are going to start off the same way as every other combo by normal summoning out the Snake Eye Ash, which is of course then going to activate and add us our copy of Habetler. Habetler is going to summon itself using its effect, and then on summon, use its effect to search. Here we're going to search the Divine Temple, and then activating the Divine Temple, we can go ahead and place our copy of Flamberge into the Spell and Trap Zone. Now this combo is also nib-proof, and it's nib-proof in a multifaceted way. So let's show you guys how that's going to actually work. Now that we are at this point, of course we are going to link off our Habetler into our copy of Linkuriboh, and using the Habetler effect, we will put itself in the Spell and Trap Zone. That is now 3 summons. Summon number 4 is going to be the Black Witch, which is going to send the Habetler to summon itself, and then activating its effect, we're going to set the original Sinful Spoils from our deck. Again, that was 4 summons. For summon number 5, we are going to go ahead and use the original Sinful Spoils, sending specifically the Linkuriboh. This is going to summon out our copy of Jet Synchron. Now, if they Nibiru us here, we will of course be able to summon the Flamberge. Flamberge plus Nib token is going to be able to link into anything like IP Masquerena. Flamberge will then summon back your 2 level 1s, and you're just going to full combo from there. But if they decide to hold the Nibiru, they're going to lose their opportunity to do so, because the next summon is going to be using the Jet Synchron and the Diabellstar to go into our copy of Savage Dragon. Savage Dragon is of course going to activate on summon, and this is going to equip the Linkuriboh. Now there's a really cool interaction here. We're going to go ahead and put the 1 counter on the Borreload Savage, but this does not actually need this to remain on field to keep the negate. The only thing it is gaining now is the additional attack, so we can go ahead and get rid of this, which is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and use the Snake Eye Ash, sending itself and the Linkuriboh. This is of course going to summon out our copy of Oak. Here we'll go ahead and use the Oak effect to resummon specifically the Jet Synchron, and now we're able to use the Oak effect to summon from deck. We're going to use the Oak effect to use the Flamberge in our Spell Trap Zone because we're already nib-proof now, we don't need to leave that there. This is going to summon out our second copy of Flamberge. Now we can use the Flamberge effect that we have in our graveyard because it was just sent off the Oak to summon back 2 of our level 1s, does not matter which ones, and now we can go ahead and use the Jet Synchron and 1 of our level 1s to Synchro Summon into the Formula Synchron. Formula Synchron is going to draw a card, and we're just going to show that it's not a combo piece so that you know you don't need to use this to continue your combo. But now we can go ahead and use the Formula Synchron and the level 1 that we have remaining, and this is going to go ahead and go into our IP Masquerena. The last move that we're going to do for our turn is use the Flamberge to put the Formula Synchron back in our Spell Trap Zone, and this is now what leaves us the ability to go ahead and make a double Omni Negate. What you're seeing now is all occurring on the opponent's turn, so during your opponent's turn you can use either the Temple or the Flamberge to summon out your copy of Formula Synchron from your Spell Trap Zone. This is of course going to then go ahead and go into your copy of Baron. Now we have double Omni Negate with Baron and Savage, but let's not forget that we also have the Flamberge effect. The Flamberge effect is going to summon back your Snake Eye Ash and your Oak, and of course this is going to activate both of their effects. Oak is going to go ahead and reborn out the Habetler. Ash is going to go ahead and search you whatever it is you want it to search you, does not matter. We're just going to show you guys. Usually you're actually going to go for something like the Oak, just to make sure that you have guaranteed follow-up, but this is now where your options get kind of varied. What you can do now, obviously, is make a 4-material Appaloosa, if you so please. You can make a 3-material if you want as well, and then leave 1 of your level 1s to summon back out your Linkuriboh, which is also super strong. But there is one thing that I want to show you guys that you can do in case you know your opponent is going to do something like Dark Ruler you, because this came up in tournament for me the other day. My opponent activated Thrust and added Dark Ruler. So how do you play into Dark Ruler with this board? I'm going to go ahead and show you. Your opponent adds Dark Ruler, you're going to go ahead and tribute off any of your level 1s into your Linkuriboh. And now what you can do is, because you have the IP Masquerena, you can go ahead and use the IP Masquerena and the Link Karibo, because they are both Cybers, and this is going to go ahead and summon you out your copy of Heat Soul. Now that you have the Heat Soul, you can use the effect to draw an additional card. So that's giving you an option to draw into some of your hand traps, because if they're going to Dark Ruler you, yeah, you've got a big board and you have guaranteed follow-up, but you want some kind of interactions for your opponent's turn. So that's just a way to play into the Dark Ruler. Obviously, if you don't want to play into the Dark Ruler, we can go ahead and rewind for a second here. Where here at this board, you can either use all 4 to make a copy of Appaloosa, or you can use 3 to make the Appaloosa and then have a Link Karibo on the back as well. Now for our 5th and final combo, I'm going to show you how a single Snake Eye Ash can not only OTK your opponent, but OTK them through a board of 4 monsters. Now obviously this is dependent on what those monsters are. If your opponent has interaction, then it's not going to be this easy, but I did want to show you guys how we can go about doing it. So let's start off. Again, we are going to normal summon out the Snake Eye Ash. We're going to go ahead and move everything down a little bit, because unfortunately I don't have a great recording setup to show my opponent's side of the field, so we want to make sure we have some room. So this is the opponent's side of the field. We're normal summoning out the Snake Eye Ash. This is going to add us our copy of Poplar. Poplar is going to summon itself, and this is of course going to get us our copy of Divine Temple, which we can then activate, and using the Divine Temple, we can place the Flamberge in our spell and trap zone. I believe that's a little bit cut off, but you guys should still be able to see it. Next, what we're going to do is link off the Poplar into our copy of Link Karibo, and this is going to allow the Poplar to place itself back in the spell and trap zone, and then we can use the Ash and the Poplar off of the Ash effect to summon out our copy of Oak. Here, Oak is going to reborn either of the 2 level 1s, it does not matter which one, and then we can use the Oak to send itself and the Flamberge to summon out another copy of Flamberge. This is of course going to activate the Flamberge in our graveyard to summon back out 2 of our level 1s, which we will go ahead and do. Now to out the first monster, we're going to go ahead and use the Flamberge. This is going to target one of their monsters and put it in their spell trap zone. I don't have the room, so we're just going to go ahead and say that that is now in their spell and trap zone. Here what we can do is take the Link Karibo and any 2 of our level 1s. This is of course going to then go into our copy of Princess. Princess here can reborn out our Flamberge, which we will now go ahead and put on the field. And then using the Princess and the level 1 that we have remaining, we're going to go ahead and link those off into a copy of Raging Phoenix. Now, going into the Raging Phoenix is important here because we want to get out of the Firelock that the Princess bestows upon us. And now we can use the Raging Phoenix as a 1-card Zealantis. We can use the Zealantis effect to banish all of the monsters on the field, and then of course resummon them, so these all get summoned back. And what we want to do is make sure that we put the Zealantis here. The reason we want to put the Zealantis here is because a monster was summoned to our opponent's side of the field, we can use the effect of Princess, targeting one of those and one of the Flamberges that we have, and that is then going to destroy both and summon itself. So now we only have the 2 monsters left. On the destruction, that is of course going to allow us to activate the effect of Raging Phoenix to summon itself back out from the graveyard and gain attack equal to the monster that was destroyed. So this is now at 5,800 attack. We can go ahead and enter battle phase here. This will allow us to use the quick effect of Zealantis to destroy cards our opponent controls up to the number of co-linked monsters, which happens to be 2. So we will go ahead and pop the final 2 monsters, clearing the board and allowing us to push for, I believe, it's 14,000 damage. And there you guys have it. That is 5 must-know pure Snake Eye combos for the February 2024 format. Hopefully you guys learned something, and if you did, you know the deal. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, comment, share with your friends. As always, do not forget to check out the channel sponsor Dueling Guard. Using code INSANE18, you can get 5% off your entire order. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.